I mean, I just feel like anybody would understand at this point. Like, I'll retire that heavyweight belt if I have to. It's like, dude, give the guy what he wants at the end of the day, And I'm not talking like Dana directly. I feel like I'm at a place now where, I want to take what I fight in these super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous uppercomers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So I'm going to have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. And my body doesn't lie in belts anymore. I've created such much.
With Jon Jones officially announcing his retirement from the UFC, debate has erupted across the MMA world. Many have speculated that the move is a way to avoid a potential clash with rising star Tom Aspinall. However, Ilia Topuria pushed back on that narrative, stating, No. Jon fought the best of the best over the past decade. He's not ducking anyone. He's accomplished incredible things in this sport. He's arguably the greatest to ever do it, and if he chooses to retire now, that's his right. Topuria praised Jones for his legendary career, emphasizing that his legacy speaks for itself. Still, others point to possible legal troubles as a factor in the decision. With questions swirling around both his future and his past, Jones' exit from the sport continues to stir strong reactions across the fight community.
A guy like you who got their shit together and, you're an addict, stuff like that, you saw the Jon Jones news, right?
Yeah.
This is his seventh, kind of issue with the law. This is the seventh time he's been caught. Now, that if you're doing this stuff or you have a buddy who drinks and drives, he's doing it nonstop. He might have been caught once or twice. Yeah. And if you get a DUI, you're going to suffer some severe penalties. I think the issue with Jon, he's 38 and he hasn't learned his lesson yet because he's been caught and there's no consequences. He gets a slap on the wrist, pays a fine, does some fucking community service, can still fight, gets all the fruits of his labor. So there's no reason for him to get better. He hasn't hit rock bottom. Because what's rock bottom for him?
And I can only speak from my experience and then from people who are very, very close with me who have been in the same. Rock bottom oftentimes isn't something that is very predictable.
Daniel Cormier, who shares a long and heated history with Jon Jones, didn't hold back in his criticism following Jones' retirement. Reflecting on their rivalry and Jones' legacy, DC claimed that Jon is simply avoiding a fight with Tom Aspinall. I said if Jon Jones doesn't fight Tom Aspinall, he quit, Cormier stated. Fighting has defined his entire adult life. It saved him, gave him a future, and built him a great life. And while I'm happy he's enjoying time with his family and financial success, the fact remains. By walking away now, he quit. He didn't want to fight Tom. Cormier went on to say that if Aspinall were to lose, he believes Jon might suddenly reappear, something he finds deeply troubling. Is Jon scared? No, he added. But by not taking the fight, he's allowed people to question his courage, to wonder why he backed out. That's what opens the door to criticism. For Cormier, this decision tarnishes Jones' image, calling it a joke and suggesting that this retreat only fuels doubts about the former champion's willingness to face the next generation.
The fact that the illustrious career of Jon Jones, the supposed greatest of all time, ends at a post-fight press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, is a joke. Is an absolute joke. I'm sorry, but this is an absolute joke. Tom Aspinall is going to Las Vegas. At the very least, present him the title. At the very least, do something to make it up for this guy who has been sitting there watching his career just waste away for the past 7 months. Oh, by the way, his last fight was almost a year ago, 11 months. Do something. This is the way it happens. This is the way it happens. Something that could have happened at the post-fight press conference in New York. Jon Jones never wanted to take this fight. And anyone who tells you otherwise is not telling you the truth. As I've said time and again, Jon Jones asked for a lot of money. He asked for the number that everyone was talking about. He's asked for a lot of money, and as I said time and again, he deserves.
Henry Ceduto believes Jon Jones may not be done just yet. In his view, there's a strong chance Jon could return after watching how Tom Aspinall performs against Cyril Gane. Gane is a big, agile heavyweight, Cejudo explained. I don't think Tom gets rid of him as easily as he has with others. That fight will give Jon a better sense of what Tom is really about, especially now that they'll have a mutual opponent. Backing that sentiment, Kamaru Usman added, I think you're absolutely right. The fight that makes the most sense is Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. People forget how good Gane really is. He floats around the octagon, throws kicks, elbows, and just touches you up. he's got a complete game. Usman acknowledged that Gann could pose real challenges for Tom, but also praised Aspinall's incredible movement, speed, boxing, and power, saying it's getting harder to doubt him. Brendan Schaub also echoed their thoughts, expressing his belief that Jon Jones isn't gone for good and could very well return, depending on how the heavyweight picture unfolds.
Decided to retire, and now Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion. I didn't take this as, oh my God, it's over. I thought, oh, we're still going to get the fight, but it's just going to be a little longer. And now John's not going to get the backlash for holding up the division. So in John's eyes, and he's been through this how many times now? In John's eyes, it's like, all right, let's wait for this court stuff to figure itself out. And then Tom's going to fight, knowing Tom maybe twice before he fights John. And that just lets John download more information on Tom. I do think we still get Tom and John. You know, this MMA fan base, the one way to get some support back, there's only one way, and it's by fighting. I would be willing to bet that before this year's over, you get announced Tom versus John. Still, even after all this malarkey, that's still happening.
Dan Hardy believes Jon Jones may have dodged a bullet by stepping away before facing Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight title. From Hardy's perspective, Jon protected his GOAT status by avoiding a potentially devastating loss. I try to look at it from Jon Jones's point of view. He's accomplished so much, so why risk having the final memory of his career be him getting knocked out by Tom Aspinall in one round? Hardy explained. He drew a comparison to Jose Aldo, noting how Aldo's legendary run was largely overshadowed after his quick loss to Conor McGregor. People suddenly forgot how great Aldo was. It was like he became disposable overnight, Hardy said, adding that the sport has changed in recent years, often defining fighters by their last performance rather than their full legacy.
Elite athlete. And John's out there tricking you. He's posting this way, and he's coming with an elbow, he's kneeing you in the body, he's spinning around and kicking you in the stomach in front of the president. There's a number of things that he gets wrong, even his resounding success. And I think that he's going to find so many people that stand back. At this point, the career's over. Say, man, you were good. And you must pay homage to that. That's the way this works. Most guys on their retirement night are woken up with salts and carried out. Even for them, we will stand up in a standing ovation and we will thank them for the memories. So to have a guy that goes out on absolute top, it would be wildly unfair if that's the one we're mad at. We're okay with everybody that gets beaten up this guy because of his success and now we're mad about him? No.
Given the way Jon Jones' retirement was announced, many fans and insiders feel that Tom Aspinall was unfairly denied his moment of glory. Among them was Tom's father, Andy Aspinall, who expressed disappointment in how the news was handled. I found out from Tom, Andy said. At the same time, Tom was calling me to say Hunter had told him. Hunter also texted me saying, Dana has just announced that Tom is the champ. It was the exact same message he sent to Tom. Andy responded to Hunter's message with frustration, saying, I can't think of a worse way you could have done it. I don't know if pathetic is the right word, but it just felt thoughtless. He emphasized that being named the heavyweight champion of a major organization should be a significant, memorable moment, not something learned secondhand during a late-night press conference. Maybe the only worse way would have been if they woke us up to tell us, and we just happened to be awake anyway. Andy added. He criticized the UFC's handling of both Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, saying, I like the people at the UFC, but sometimes they just don't do things right, while acknowledging the UFC's success as a business. Andy believes this particular moment deserved more care and consideration, especially given all the sacrifices and effort that led up to it. The manner in which Tom was informed felt dismissive, and to some, it raised questions about whether Jon Jones might have personal reservations about facing
against Tom Aspinall. Like, he just wanted to completely ruin his life in every way possible, and he's doing a great job of it. And yeah, it puts Tom in a tough spot. Like you say, he's definitely the biggest loser of this whole thing. And yeah, it makes it difficult now for him to, like, where does he go from here? Like you said, I mean, does he fight Cyril Gahn, the guy that John beat in 2 minutes, or, you know, Jalton Almeida? I mean, Almeida lost the last fight or the fight before, right?
Yeah, he's won his last two, and he lost to Curtis before that. So he's on
Curtis, yeah, and it's like, yeah, and like you said, the heavyweight division is not like what it was, you know, and you especially can't compare it to like when John came into the UFC, what the light heavyweight division was at that time, you know. And John ruined the freaking light heavyweight division, right? Because he knocked out all the legendary guys that we thought would give him a chance, like Shogun and Rampage and Rashad Evans and then Daniel Cormier. And then, at the tail end of his light heavyweight run, I mean, it's, Santos, who he arguably lost to, Reyes, who he arguably lost to, it just went kind of uninteresting later.
Jailton Almeida managed to call out Tom Aspinall while still showing respect to Jon Jones. In a recent post, he wrote, "Congrats, champ, you deserve that. Now let's make the only fight that makes sense. Aspinall versus Almeida for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world." Taking a jab at Cyril Gane, Almeida added, "Gane ducked both of us before. He already fought for the belt twice and lost. His last win was a robbery." With Jones stepping away and the heavyweight division in flux, Almeida is making it clear that he sees himself as the rightful next contender for Aspinall, and he's not holding back.
If he'd have retired after he fought Stipe, no one could have said anything. It would have been like, you had a great career, can't do it forever, getting older, there's always going to be someone young, up and coming through. But he didn't do that. He kind of implied that he was going to fight him. Yeah, he said that he annoyed him and things like that, but it seemed that he agreed with the UFC that he was going to fight him, and apparently money was discussed and stuff like that. And then for him to come out and do this, it is surprising. It is disappointing, if I'm honest, as well. And I do think it will affect his legacy to a certain degree. I don't think it's necessarily just a case of him ducking Tom, although I do think he does recognize that he is a threat, that he is big, he's agile, all the attributes, right? But then when you combine it with everything else, that he is getting older, that he has made plenty of money, that he's going to get, from what I saw online, $6-7 million next month out of this lawsuit as well. And then, of course, we see all this, the legal stuff that's going on, which is something that's haunted Jon, and that goes back to February. So I think he's had a lot of distractions. He even admitted that he wasn't training or working out at all. So I guess when you look at that at the bigger picture, it's...
Stephen A. Smith was furious upon hearing about Jon Jones's sudden retirement, expressing both deep admiration and sharp disappointment. "I'm not going to accuse the greatest mixed martial artist I've ever seen, Jon Bones Jones, because I have that much respect for him," he said, "but I'm incredibly disappointed." Smith emphasized Jones's undeniable greatness, calling him the real deal, yet pointed out the growing tension between Jones and rising star Tom Aspinall. Jones has gone on record saying Aspinall irritates him. He doesn't even want to be asked about the guy during interviews, Smith noted. "Well, now that you've retired, Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion." He argued that if Jones truly is the elite-level fighter the world believes him to be, then he should give fans the fight they've been waiting for. "We always complain about promoters getting in the way of the fights we want to see, but now, it's the fighter. If someone annoys Jon, either he wants to destroy them, which he absolutely can, or he refuses to give them the privilege of stepping in the octagon with him." Smith concluded by criticizing Jones's reasoning. "Don't walk away just because there's no fight you want. That audience out there loves you, respects your greatness, and we want to see you face this challenge. Handle it. Show us what a legend does."